All right. Uh, Please confirm if you can see the slides that I'm sharing on the screen. Awesome. So, again, thank you for joining today's 30-minute sales gym. So, the idea of this session is it's just going to be a very quick 30 minutes packed with value. Uh, and we're going to be doing this every week, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. up to 8 p.m. For the next 52 weeks. So I'm going to be doing it for a year total. Uh, it's completely free. It's 30 minutes. Invite your friends. Let them join at any time. Uh, yeah. So today's session is going to be titled How to Start a Sales Conversation. To start sales conversations that convert. So before we go far, let's start with about us. Who is SNCT Marketing? So SNCT Marketing is a sales and business consultancy firm. We're based in Uganda, in Kampala, Ntinda. We are focused on developing strong sales teams for better business and economic growth. The idea has always been uh, how do we how do you improve an economy, and the best economies in the world are the economies that have the best salespeople. Our mission is again just to develop strong sales teams, and we break this down into our goals. So the goals are simple. We train individuals and create A-team players. We develop strong organizations that with top closers, and we aim to improve how business is done in Uganda. So how uh, products are traded generally. Now, for the 30-minute sales gym, the question is, who is it for? I'm going to be structuring it for three groups of people. Generally, sales reps. If you sell anything, whether it's a physical product, a service, whatever it is you sell, this will be for you. If you're a business owner and or you're aiming to start a business, so you've got a product or you aim on creating a product, but you want to figure out how do you sell it, this session will work for you. And then business leaders, so this is for managers, executives who want to improve their teams and get their teams to beat their sales targets for the year. Why am I the one doing this? What makes me feel I can actually sit here and talk to you and guide you and train you? So, my name is Carl. I have 18 years, more than 18 years experience in sales. I have sold in more than 15 countries. Uh, in Asia, in the Middle East, you name it, I've sold there. I have sold high ticket and low ticket. So high ticket items are products $60,000 for a product and above, and also low ticket items, which means general products. I've sold everything from real estate, software. I've sold services, physical products. Uh, Pretty much, I'm a sales person, and I trained and worked with more than 500 people throughout my career. Those are people I've worked with, those are people I have personally trained, those are people that uh, I have interacted with through sales throughout my career around the globe. And then I've also established my own businesses. So I understand sales in depth. I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm a practical person. I do it on a daily basis, and therefore I'm talking about things that we will be doing or things that I do and that top salespeople do every day. So let's start diving in. Uh, how to start sales conversations that convert. So, of course, the first thing we're going to be talking about is rapport. To understand the importance of starting a sales conversation, we need to understand rapport. Rapport, what is it? It is defined as relationships built on mutual trust, understanding, and smooth communication. Rapport is the background of any sales conversation that you're going to be having throughout your sales career. If people don't like you, if people don't trust you, and if people don't know you, they will not buy from you. So the idea is, how do we get people to know, like, and trust you in the shortest period of time? So there are steps that we take to starting a sales conversation. The first step, and that's the first 5 seconds of the conversation, is how do we get somebody to decide that they like you? So how do we build instant likability? This can be done in several ways. You'll read a lot of books that talk about mimicking, that talk about how you dress. But if you're looking at the video of me, clearly I don't adhere to shaving a lot. I move around in jeans and sneakers most of the time, but I'm closing big ticket deals on a daily basis. So how do I actually make someone like me in the shortest period of time, so that they actually start the process of saying, I could listen to Carl? And how can you duplicate that in the easiest way? So there are things I do and things that I would advise every sales rep to start practicing. Number one, if a person sees you as their inferior, they will never buy from you. It is as simple as ABC. If someone sees you as someone beneath them, they can't actually trust you or your opinion, and therefore they will not buy from you. So one of the things I do to level the playing field with everybody I meet is I talk to people on a first name basis. I remove the Mr., the Mrs., the doctor, and I talk to you as Emima. I'll talk to you as Alvis. It's something that I have done throughout my career, and it has proven to be successful. Why? Because once I call them by their name, they're going to call me by their name. So the first thing I do is, when introducing myself, I'm going to call myself by my first name. My name is Carl. I'm not going to say Carl Capapiro, Mr. Carl, or put anything ahead of it. I'm just Carl. Therefore, when they introduce themselves, they will also give me their first name. And that is the first step to leveling the playing field and getting each other on the same page. So mutual respect. The next step is the introduction, right? So we get them to like us. Body language is part of it. The way we posture our bodies is very important. Are you looking suspicious? Do you have energy? Is your aura something they want to associate with? So you have to look at least presentable. That means I'm not walking around with torn clothes or with Kanye's torn fashion. I'm walking around in simple attire, respectable enough, and it's simple. So it's easy for a lot of people to associate with it. Whereas if you overdress, sometimes it kills the deal. And I'll tell you a story, because the best way to learn is through stories. I once attended a meeting with some very successful palm oil producers. And the idea was, we were trying to close a deal. We were selling palm oil to a European organization, and they wanted lots of palm oil, so we had to look for sellers. So I went to this meeting dressed in an Armani suit, and the first reaction they gave me was they laughed. They laughed at me and said, "You're overdressed." For them, they were wearing shorts and sandals and t-shirts. Now these are plantation guys, so I was overdressed. I came too dressed for the party. Uh, the same goes with any meeting. So I generally want to simplify or to look up, to dress in a simple way, be approachable. That also helps with rapport. We go on to the next point, which is your introduction. We touched on that a little already. Introduce yourself as their equal and as an expert. So, why should somebody listen to you? What makes you the right person? So, even if you're in a supermarket, when you go into a supermarket and you want to buy something, there tends to be somebody in these small fuel stations, especially the fuel station shops. There tends to be somebody who comes carrying the basket and then they just stand behind you. If they introduced themselves and why they are there with you, it would make your life a lot more, it would make the situation a lot more comfortable as opposed to what they generally do, which is they just come with the basket and then wait. They wait for you to tell them what you want, and then they look for it for you. So if they came and the approach was, I'm here to help you. My name is XYZ. I'm here to help you. What can I assist you with? Then you know the cue. For you as the shopper, it becomes easier to purchase. Next, in the interaction, remember we're trying to start a conversation. So you've introduced yourself and they kind of like you because of the way you've introduced yourself and how you appear. Next thing is give them time to introduce themselves and their needs. Rule of thumb, people love talking about themselves. I love talking about myself. I believe we all do. So if you want people to be comfortable, give them time to actually talk about themselves. Let them share. So let them introduce themselves, why they're there, what they need, etc. It makes the whole conversation easier. There's a video we're posting on social media which is going to be talking about the 80-20 rule. And I think we're going to be having a more in-depth conversation about that in another session for the 30-minute sales gym, where we're going to be talking about how you should spend less time talking and more time listening. So the sales process is like that. We approach it as a consultation regardless of the product you're selling, whether it's push sales. For me, the best practice is always consultative selling. And we're going to go into the why consultative selling. So give them time to introduce themselves and why they're there or their needs. Then position yourself as the right person to talk to and increase the trust. So they've introduced themselves. My rule of thumb is to agree with them or empathize with them and then tell them, listen, it's great you're here, or it's great I'm talking to you now. I'm actually the right person for this conversation, and then break down why you are the right person. So it's usually going to come in to the introduction of your product or your business. Why are you the right person? And I believe I touched on that even from the beginning of the slides. Why, Carl? Why am I talking to you? So, and then I talked on, it's practical. I'm a practical person. I've done sales and I do sales every day. And I've trained so many people who have gone on to be successful in sales. So, position yourself as the right person to talk to. You understand your product, you understand your service that you offer. What makes you the right person to solve the problem or the issue they're facing, which they've informed you about very briefly in their intro. And their intro would usually go something like, my name is XYZ, I am from this company, and we do XYZ. I'm looking for this product. So then position yourself to be the right person to sell that product to them. Again, rule on step number 5 is listen. Once you talk, give them a chance to talk. So let them tell you, let them guide the conversation. Listen attentively. There's passive listening, and then there's active listening. A lot of us are into passive listening. That's listening while doing something else, or listening but not actually understanding what's being said. So the idea is always listen to understand, and that will guide you on what their needs are. Next is introduce the solution. So after you've listened to them, go ahead and introduce a solution to their problem. Remember, you can't solve a problem or introduce a solution before you understand their needs. You might miss the mark, and once you've missed the mark, automatically closing becomes harder. Why your conversations should always start well. So the reasons why you should always start the conversation well is people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Automatically, if you don't start the conversation well, there's no opportunity for them to know, like, and trust you. You generally have a short period of time to interact with your prospects, especially if you're meeting them for the first time and it's not a referral. So what we're doing is we're taking that time, that real estate of time, and we have to utilize it very well to gain to let them know us and get them to like us and gain their trust. In the digital world, attention span is low. You have a short time to gain people's attention. You have to maximize or get their attention and make sure you've got them hooked on what you have to say in the shortest period of time. In many cases, I go for presentations, and during those presentations, you're going to be told, listen, I only have 10 minutes, I only have 30 minutes. The question is, how do you get them to give you another 30 minutes? Because you're not going to present and close in a short period of time. In that 30-minute period, how do you get more minutes? So get them hooked. People are judgmental and know if they will buy from you early in the conversation. So most of your sales are lost at the very beginning. And that way, and because of that, you end up talking, but or they end up blocking you. They don't respond to your calls. They've already decided they're not going to buy. They just were friendly and they allowed you to speak for the 30 minutes. Help them gain interest in what you have to advise. In your conversations, what you have to do is help them to gain interest in what you're advising them and in your solutions. So you have a very limited time to get them interested. Then the conversation, if your conversations start well, they trust you with their deepest secrets. Even just after a short conversation, I've had people telling me their personal problems, issues going on in their homes. So starting the conversation well helps with that. What's next? So I'm kind of rushing because we have a timer on the video. I think the meeting is about to actually stop. However, we have a what's next coming. Here it is. The next sessions we'll be doing this weekly, 7:30 to 8 p.m. The next sections are going to be about asking questions. We're going to dive into when to start selling. You are in sales, but do you always have to sell? Then ABC, always be closing. What does that mean? Just to confirm, you can hear me. So, as I was saying before we dropped off, the next sessions coming up, we will be doing this weekly, 52 weeks, uh, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. 30 minutes of bite-sized actionable lessons. So the idea is it has to be something you can take home today and implement, and you can you hear me? Perfect. Thank you. So the idea is we'll be doing this weekly. So what's next? Weekly sessions, 7:30 to 8 p.m. 30 minutes of bite-sized actionable lessons that anyone selling any product can use and instantly see results. So just by going and changing your introduction and how you talk to a person, you should be able to start seeing results on the spot, and we'll be doing that every week for 52 weeks. They say 1% of growth every day turns out to be more than 37.5%.
Yo, like, Chris,
Yes?
I found a thingy.
Pardon?
I think he was talking to someone else.
Okay. So the next
Sorry,
session,
my bad.
no problem. The next session, we're going to be discussing how to ask better questions. We're going to also be talking about when to start selling, uh, because it's not every day that it's not every second you're supposed to be selling. Sometimes you're there as a consultant, just listening and then advising. We're going to be talking about ABC, always be closing. What does that mean? When do you actually start closing? What do they mean, ABC? And then we're going to be looking at the 80-20 rule in sales. The idea is sales is a science, it's not an art. Anyone can learn it. There are certain laws, certain scientific things we can implement easily, and you don't necessarily have to be born with the skill of sales to become a top sales rep or to sell your product and make a killing selling your product. The goal is to help you grow your sales and become more consistent in your sales. To do this, we also provide other services as SNCT marketing, of course. We do one on one coaching, we do live events and activities. We're going to be creating a mastermind group for sharing knowledge, so a group on WhatsApp, and then we're going to be doing organizational training. So if you've got a team, you need a team to be trained, not only you, we also do that. Feel free to visit our website, that's snctmarketing.com. We continuously add blog posts and information on upcoming events there. So read the blog posts. Everything we're doing or everything we're trying to do is going to be just adding value, not just selling. So again, it's not every time you have to sell. Then you can subscribe to our monthly newsletter from the website or visit our socials. Emima will be able to share with you our socials, where we'll be sharing valuable insights and tips on a regular basis. That being said, I know we've taken about 26 minutes of actual runtime. I hope this has been a good introduction, a good starting point, and then I look forward to seeing you all again in the next sessions.